Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and if you make sourdough bread, you know that there is a discard problem. You're always looking for recipes to use your discard in. Now, I use a method with my sourdough that I don't really have discard very often, but sometimes I really want to have some discard just so I can try some of these recipes. Last year, or maybe it was the year before, I made some sourdough discard pumpkin bread. That was fantastic. If you haven't seen that video, you should watch it. I've also made discard coffee cake, which is fantastic. So I'm always looking at the sourdough discard recipes and I always love them and I save them. But today's recipe has my mind boggled. Now, every Christmas I do cookie recipes, and since we are marching towards Christmas, I thought what better time to try a sourdough discard recipe than with a cookie. Now, when I saw this cookie and I was like, yes, I want to do it, printed it out, got all of my ingredients ready, and then I started reading the directions and my mind is blown. The way you put together this cookie is unlike any cookie recipe I have ever, maybe similar to shortbread-ish, but like literally this defies everything. Everything that I am reading in this screams red alert, don't do it like that. Why would you do it like that? That's silly. So that being the case, I actually was like, no, I'm not gonna do it like that. I'll just do it like I do a regular cookie and it'll work out fine. I'm trying to learn from my own mistakes. So instead, we're gonna follow this recipe to the T so that we can see if this works, because it seems like a lot of work and it seems crazy, but if it's a good cookie, then maybe it's worth it. So are you ready for this adventure with a chocolate chip sourdough cookie? You ready for this? Here's what you're gonna need. 3/4 of a cup plus 1 teaspoon, which equals 95 grams of all-purpose flour. 1 cup plus 1 teaspoon of bread flour, or that is 125 grams. 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of fine sea salt. Half of a teaspoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. 1 large egg. 1/2 cup or 125 grams of sourdough discard. 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of vanilla extract. 8 tablespoons or 113 grams of unsalted butter. This is cold butter. Yes, cold butter. Half a cup, 100 grams of light brown sugar. Half of a cup or 100 grams of white sugar. 340 grams of chocolate chips, which equals about 2 cups. Now, I will tell you that I did change that to 2 cups for this recipe, not because I'm changing something, but because when I measured out my bag of chocolate chips, it was exactly 340 grams and it was almost 2 cups. So somewhere between 1.5 to 2 cups, use your best guess, but you need about 340 grams. Okay, the first thing we're gonna wanna do is get our dry ingredients mixed together. So I'm gonna mix the all-purpose flour and the bread flour, the salt, and the baking soda and baking powder. Now I'm just gonna use this to mix it together. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna save these right here because maybe I'll use it to dump it in there. All right, next we are gonna measure out our sourdough starter. So the recipe calls for about 125 grams, which is about half of a cup. So I have my scale zeroed out and we'll just put in 125 grams. Thank you, Miss Martha. So I decided to name my sourdough starter Martha because she's always working. All right, and to this we are gonna add the egg and the vanilla. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna whip this until smooth. That looks pretty smooth. That actually looks a little bit like pancake batter. Now we're coming to our stand mixer. So you'll see that I have put my camera here because I want you to see what is supposed to be happening in here, which hopefully will be what happens because like I mentioned, this recipe is a little cuckoo. Okay, first into the mixer will be our cold butter. Yes, cold butter. Next, both the sugars, the brown and the white. Now, we're gonna give that a mix, and we're gonna mix until crumbly, which may take about 45 seconds. Meanwhile, get your chocolate chips ready, because we're gonna throw those in too. I know this is not the way that we make cookies usually. I don't know. I'm just trying to follow the directions. Okay, next we're gonna put in the chocolate chips. And I am using mini chocolate chips today because that's what I bought. And for some reason, I think that's gonna work out much better because we have to actually mix it. That weirds me out. And now we are going to turn it on for 30 seconds. It's all kinds of wrong. Like, have you ever seen cookie dough look like that at this point? No, neither have I. I'm gonna trust the process though. Okay, now we are going to add not the wet ingredients, but all of the dry ingredients. I think the reason, honestly, we're doing it like this is so that we don't develop a whole bunch of gluten in the cookies. But I don't know, because I just feel like, number one, I feel weird about the fact that I'm putting bread flour in my chocolate chip cookies. Number two, that I am not creaming my butter together with my egg and vanilla and sugar and butter, and I don't know. It all seems wrong. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and start it again for about 30 more seconds. Kind of looks like a scone. There's an awful lot of butter chunks in there. All right, last but not least, we are going to dump this egg mixture into there and just bring it together until it is all incorporated and pulling away from the sides of the bowl. Now, the recipe says it will take about 20 to 30 seconds. So I'm literally gonna look at my timer and we're gonna go for it. Okay, that's the 30-second mark, but there is still a lot of dry ingredients on the bottom. So the directions say to use a spatula to incorporate anything else. So that's what we will do. As you can see, it's still there's still some dry bits down there. See that? So I'm just gonna work them in with this spatula and see if we can get it to all come together. I almost want to use my hands. I mean, let's put it on the counter. Let's look at it. I mean, it looks like very crumbly cookie dough. So let's just see if we can bring it together. A little worried about it, but maybe it will be fine. Okay. All right, now we are going to take a scoop of the dough and we're gonna make 12 cookies that are about the same size. Okay, well, my scoop, there's still batter left. So maybe I will do more than 12. I mean, obviously she wants them to be a little bigger than my scoop is, but that's the large scoop. And I feel like that's probably enough cookie, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so all in all, like when I first read this recipe, I thought, oh, what a pain. It's gonna be a pain to make. Not so bad. And since these are gonna go in the refrigerator, I can just take them out of the refrigerator. Like take however many is gonna fit on my tray and take them out of the refrigerator and cook as many as I want to at a time. Maybe I'll try cooking a couple in the air fryer too. All right, this made about 14 cookies. If you would have used the extra large scoop, maybe it would have made 12, but I think these are a good size. Now we are going to cover them with plastic wrap and get them into the refrigerator for 2 hours. All right, it's been well over 2 hours, so our cookies are ready to go in the oven, and I'm gonna put one in the air fryer. Now, my air fryer is the Pampered Chef one. I went ahead and put it on custom 375, and these guys are gonna bake for 15 to 17 minutes, but I'm assuming that this one will only bake for about 8 maybe, but we'll check it. All right, let's see the results. Okay, these are just out of the oven, and you're gonna wanna let them sit in the pan for about 5 minutes so they can solidify. Now, looking at the ones from the oven, they don't look anything like the picture, so that was a little misleading, but they do look like really fluffy chocolate chip cookies. I mean, I'm not mad at them, but they didn't look like the picture, so let's be aware. Then looking over here at the air fryer one, that one is much more brown because it was much more concentrated heat. It did indeed only take 7 to 8 minutes to become done, but we'll give these about 5 minutes and then we'll break into them and see what we think. Okay, so let's, still 5 minutes later, still hot. Let's break into one of the ones we've given it 5 minutes. So here is our beautiful cookie, and let's break into it. Woo. Oh, well, I mean, it looks like a good cookie. What do you think? Oh, that's weird. It smells like sourdough. I mean, it shouldn't be weird. That's what it is, but all of a sudden I got a sourdough whiff. Okay, here we go. I'm not mad at this cookie, but this is like a bread cookie or a cake cookie. It doesn't have the same texture as a cookie. It has more of the texture like chocolate chip sourdough bread. Is it good? Yes, it's awfully sweet. Like it has a cup of sugar, it had a cup of brown sugar. No, it had half a cup of brown sugar and half a cup of white sugar. It's good, but wow, is that sweet. And the texture is a little bread cakey like. I mean, what can you expect being a sourdough chocolate chip cookie? But the picture led me to believe that they would be more cookie-like. So let's break into the air fryer one because we all want to know if the air fryer is indeed a good option. Now the reminder is I cooked this at 375 in the air fryer for about 7 minutes. I took it out because it looked rather brown after the 7.5 minute mark. Let's bust into it. Oh, hold on. Uh-oh. I don't think that cooked. Oh, nuts. Oh, do you see that? Wah, wah, wah. Okay, well, the outside of this cookie cooked, but literally the inside of this cookie is dough. So I'll eat the edge that's cooked and see if there's any textural difference here. No, it's the same. I mean, it's not a bad tasting cookie, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a cookie. I feel like because it's small, because it's like scone-like, it is kind of cookie-like, but would I make them again? I guess that just depends on what my family thinks about them because they're good, but they're so sweet, they're so chocolatey, and they remind me of chocolate bread. That's fine. Okay, I'm busting in here. The boys have eaten, and they both agree that it is a good cookie. They love how crispy the outside is and how soft the inside is. I did mention to them that I thought it was kind of bready, and they said, yeah, well, it is a bit fluffy, but it's nothing like a cake cookie, which I agree with. It's nothing like a cake cookie. It's just a little sweet for me, but they seem to really like it, so it's a win-win. So this is a good recipe. I will probably make it again for Christmas. All right, you guys, that's it for me. If you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos about everything. I do videos about treats and dinner and sourdough and all the things. I also do reviews on products that I think are important for me in my house and I want to share with you. Sometimes I get paid for it, sometimes I don't, but I always tell you the honest truth about the whole product. So if you want to follow me, give me a subscribe. Otherwise, you guys, I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye.